Hey neighbors, Brent here with day 22 of our 40-day prayer challenge. Again, going through Mark Batterson's Draw the Circle book, all the way to September 23rd when we'll have our official groundbreaking of the Church at Wood Forest first structure. Wanted to check in with you today. Its topic was prayer fleece. Basically, he pulls the story out of the book of Judges where Gideon senses that maybe he's hearing from the Lord that the Lord will deliver the enemies into Gideon's hands, that Gideon will be successful in leading the people of Israel. But he's not quite sure. And so he wants to check to see maybe if he misheard. So he says to God, God, how about this? I'm going to put a fleece outside my door. And tonight, if you would let the dew fall on the fleece, but not on the ground around it, that would give me evidence that maybe I'm hearing you correctly. And so Gideon gets up the next morning and he finds the wool fleece just as he had asked, with dew on it enough that he could wring it out and the water would come out of it. And the ground around it was perfectly dry. And so Gideon, I think, maybe was starting to backpedal a little bit, maybe second guess. But he said, okay, one more time then, God. Why don't you do just the opposite of what you've just done? Can you leave the fleece dry and let the ground around it be covered with dew? Then I'll know for sure that what you're saying to me is exactly what I'm hearing you say to me. And the next morning, as you probably guessed, he goes out and the wool is perfectly dry. The dew is all around it. Now, as Batterson says, this isn't like Gideon saying, I'm trying to get my way, and so prove to me that you're there. In this particular case, Gideon is hearing what he thinks is a word from the Lord, but he wants to check it out. He wants to make sure that it's really coming from the Lord, not out of his own conscience, out of his own thought processes. Now, I know a lot of us probably find ourselves praying, and we say, God, if these conditions are just right, I'll know that this is what you want me to do. If you want me to go to this store, then the front parking spot will be empty. If you want me to take that job transfer, then you're going to make it perfectly clear to me, and I'll lose the job I've got, or the new job will be just too good to pass up. And so what Mark is trying to say to us is, if your desires are pure, if you're seeking after God's will, that maybe what Gideon has done here is something that we need to do. Put out a prayer fleece of sorts. Say, I thank God that you're calling me to this. I thank God you're inviting me into this, but I just need a little more confirmation. Now, Mark warns us about is, don't ask for further confirmation if you're not willing to be faithful to that response to God if He fulfills it. So it's this other verse out of Psalm 37 that he cautions us with. He says, Psalm 37:4 states that when you take delight in the Lord, God will give you the desires of your heart. Again, delighting in the Lord, then God will give the desires of your heart. He says the word give means to conceive. So as you press into God's presence, old sinful desires die and new holy desires are birthed in your spirit. These single-cell desires ultimately become lifelong dreams if we nurture them in prayer. Mark is encouraging us, and I'm challenging us to pay attention to the things that you've been praying about. If you're waiting for an answer to a prayer you've been praying, it's one of those prayers you've been praying for a long, long time, praying hard about, and you think you're getting an answer. If you need to test God to see if maybe the answer is really it, that's called discernment. And so I want to encourage you to put a figurative prayer fleece out there and ask God, if this is really what you're asking, then tell me more clearly. Let me meet someone who can confirm this for me. This is part of the way that prayer discernment takes place, as we discern within our own selves, and then we ask God to surround us with others who might also agree with what we sense God saying to us. This is a challenge for today. It's an invitation for today, so I hope you'll take it. Don't forget to circle up this evening, and we'll see you on video tomorrow for day 23. Have a great day. God bless you. Bye-bye.